Another new project. In my new truck here, I've completed my deck and drawer system. I've also had those modified and installed my rail system over here on both sides. And that kind of just holds junk. But it also creates a surface that I want to put up underneath here, all the way up to the front on both sides. Some LED light strip. And I bought this, I believe it's 16-foot section, and I think I know the color that I wanted, and I'm going to go with this. We'll just let it be a surprise when it's all installed and we get it to the point where we can turn it on. I think I have everything else. I'm going to consult my automotive electrician friend for some assistance on this, but I've got a switch that's going to mount back here somewhere. I'm not sure yet whether I want to mount it up here on this flange, maybe underneath on the flange, but also inside here is a hole, and I thought about putting it down here, but that would put my wires up into the fender inner liner, and I can do that, but it's just one of those things I gotta figure all this stuff out. I've got a fusible link. I'm not sure whether that's going to go up near the front at the power source or back here at the back where the power comes to the switch. Just not sure yet. So I'm going to figure all this out. These are connectors that I bought. A bunch of these, and one of these split turns into two connectors for the LED. Because it's only going to be about 4 or 5 feet long on both sides, and I'll have to run a jumper kind of from one side to the other. I've got some extra wire, lots of extra wire, different gauges. I've got a hot and ground 2-strand wire, and then this Gorilla Tape is one I'm going to put up underneath there, because my last truck I put that on with the adhesive back on here. It just wasn't really that sticky. So I bought this stuff, this super tape, and it really is a super tape. But I'm thinking of running double strand side by side to get a little better bright extra effect. Not sure yet, and if I do that I'm going to use the Gorilla Tape because it's wider. It's a 1 inch wide versus a 1/4 inch wide. So that's my new project, and I'll go up here and show you a little bit of the front. Inside the cab here, Ram puts in these auxiliary switches. They're pre-wired. I believe that auxiliary 1 and 2 are battery hot, and 3, 4, and 5 are keyed to the ignition. So you have to have the ignition on to get power to them. But I believe one's already has power to it. And to connect to that, I have to go out here under the hood, and it's in one of these connectors here. I believe it's this gray one top left here is switch number 1. I'm going to go online and verify that before I go a whole lot farther. But then it's just going to be a matter of routing a wire all the way to the back to where my switch is going to be, so that I can power it on in the truck and have it on if I'm camping, loading, unloading for hunting, something like that, and I need light back there, rather than try and rely on the factory installed LED lights, which go off after about 30 seconds. I'm going to have a switched LED back there. So that's where the project starts here. Now I got to figure out all the details. Stay tuned. Well, I got my first 2 sections of it done, and I think I've figured out that I'm going to do 4 light strips. 2 of them are going to be on a switch, and 2 of them are going to be connected to my truck doors, so that when my truck doors open, the bed lights come on. 2 of these LED lights will come on also back there. Just to add a little effect and a little more light back there. It's just all that I really need to get. So I've got connectors. I've soldered the wires to the connectors, and I shrink wrap them, and everything's good there. So the next thing to do is I need to make, I've got this piece of sheet metal here, and I need to make a holder for my little switch. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, now I've got a nice little bead on there of an edge so that it's not sharp. Now, need to mark it again. So now, I need to make a hole for my switch. The switch is going to go in there about like that, I believe. That's how I'm going to do it. So I got to find a drill bit that's about the same size as the shaft of this and drill a hole in this. Okay, there we have that. Now my switch, where did I put my switch? There it is. Switch is going to go down in here like that. Just like that. Now if I wire this correctly, there's a little blue light in there that tells me there's power to it, and that'll indicate that power is available when I activate that switch in the cab. On and off. Alright, the next step is going to be wiring some spade clips to pieces of wire. Basically, you've got a power in, a power out, and a ground. Pretty simple stuff. Okay, what I've done, this is a left bedside rail, and up underneath here, you'll see, hopefully, you can see that, an LED light strip that goes down the length of that. Can't tell if it's focusing or not. But it comes down this side. There's actually two of them. There's one up underneath the bed rail over here. And then there's one on the bottom of this plate right here. And it's right at this edge. And it comes back here so that when that light's on and I open my drawer, I'll have light. It goes up to that corner. It goes across the front. You see I put it in some split loom and some clamps to hold it in place so that there's no loose wires dangling for dogs to get in trouble with. And then it comes down this other side. And it runs down this split loom right here that's clamped on the bed rail to this switch right here. Get out of the way, to this switch. And it's just a matter of turning it on, turning it off. This is all going to be powered. There's another wire that comes to the switch that goes back up to that corner, across, and then I go through the bed wall pocket. There's a stake pocket up there in the corner. I go through that, and underneath, if you can see this or not, it comes down inside this fender right here, and this split loom comes over to inside the bed rail. The bed the bed rails right here. Down this inside, which is alongside the bed rail, along this tank. This is my fuel tank. It runs the full length up to the front of the cab inside this bed rail. This is laying under the driver's door. Looking up, I come up here where these fuel lines and stuff, brake lines are, and I run up the firewall on the back side up towards the battery. Now I'm up top side, and if we look down the firewall right here, possibly see split loom comes up and about. Here's that wire. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's so much glare out here. And I've got some extra wire hanging off that I have to work on now. I bought this auto fuse. It's a 10 amp with, I believe, 18 gauge wire for automotive use. And it takes one of these spade fuses. As I explained before, has this RAM aux switch upfitter wiring kit, and there's a lot of different options on how to use this. But here's what I'm doing with it. Take this out. There's extra connectors and stuff in here that I'll never use. Some of this stuff is for PTOs, different types of equipment and applications that I'll never use. But the ones I need, of course, it's all buried in here together. Wow. But one of these I'm going to use on this connector. This top connector, this is number 1 for that auxiliary switch in the cab. So to get this out, use a little tool, screwdriver or something, and push on this and disconnect and pull that out just like that. So now, as it shows in the Ram truck video, right up here tells me that this is number 1. Like that. It said slide the white clip back, or forward or something, but I don't know. Something ain't right there. There it is. Just got to push harder. Ah. Okay, now we have that spade popped all the way through and it's locked in. Alright, that wraps up this wire job. Everything's tidied up. I've got my ground connected here on the negative stud, which is an accessory stud. And comes around. It's just loose in there. And from here it's tied off and then goes down. So, when it gets dark, we'll come back out here and check it out. Standing at the back of my truck now, the back gate open, I can reach in here, turn these lights on. I like that. I'll switch over here, my hand, they go off. I think I may reverse those wires behind there so that that little blue light will stay on, and that'll tell me that power is available if I reverse the in and out wire, I believe. And I'll do that next. But another thing I can do is, as I showed you before, up here, what they call these upfitter switches. Right here is I push that and that turns it off. Project is done.
Like and subscribe for